must leave this place and allow the other to continue teaching me.
Welcome everybody to week 2, day 2 of Friend or Foe's very own Luna League. Kicking off the night with game number 1, on the blue side, we have Serenity Senate, and on the red side, Church of Alfonso. Quick mention as we get into Champ Select here, Church's roster was not able to make it to lock-ins, so the ultimate result of this game will be a loss for COF. So both of these teams have agreed to have an exhibition match in efforts to try out new players to their roster. As always, my name is Whirler, and casting alongside me tonight, we have War Leader.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This should be a really interesting match, because this is actually the first time this season that we're going to see Church of Alfonso play at all. And like you said earlier, they've got some new players, so I believe Serenity Senate is trying out a new jungler in Filthy Casual, and Church of Alfonso is trying out a new top laner in Wild West Wild, so we'll be keeping an eye on those players throughout the game and see how they do.
Definitely so, as well as in their support, they do have a new support. I'm not too sure if they are new to the league. It is Cheeky Pingu instead of Ollie.
Getting into the bans here, we see Church of Alfonso taking away a lot of power picks and engage that we've seen throughout Helios and Luna Leagues. Meanwhile, Serenity Senate is taking away a lot of these mages that can sit back and apply CC, and a Nivea first pick is definitely not something I expected to see today.
Especially from Serenity Senate, they have a very, very impactful sort of team. Not too sure how that carries through with the new players, but seeing a Nivea is very interesting to start off with, and matching it with a Corki in the mid lane, that is one heck of a matchup if I've ever seen so myself. Not too familiar, or not too common of picks in this current meta that you would see in the mid lane. Definitely a different direction from the meta, and I'm excited to see where this Corki pick is going to go specifically.
Yeah, I mean, if it is a Nivea and Corki in the mid lane, you'd have to imagine they both just kind of want to farm up and scale, and they're not going to be interacting too much early game, but Corki with his package ability does get a little more priority. Meanwhile, Lee Sin for Church of Alfonso has been a really common pick in recent patches, so we haven't seen it too much in FOF, but in general, I'm not surprised to see it come out.
Definitely so. Getting nerfed next patch for Worlds. If you guys are familiar with the Worlds patch of each year, for some reason we see Lee Sin getting buffed. For every Worlds patch in almost every season that we've ever had a Worlds in. But for the first time ever, Lee Sin is catching the nerf next patch. Not quite happening yet. We are still on 11.17. So the Lee Sin is still very prominent in terms of his ability to provide a pressure around the map. Not too sure how much that's going to change in 11.18. We shall see with the time to come, as Ornn and Trundle getting picked up here for Serenity Senate. A very beefy team comp so far, as we have the entire top side of the map locked in for Serenity Senate.
Yeah, and there's actually a little bit of cool synergy here. The Ornn pickup does look a little early than you'd normally see it, but it synergizes really well. So Ornn's E knocks up enemies that are near terrain, and both Trundle and Anivia create terrain. So it'll be really interesting to see how that synergy plays out throughout the game. And Church of Alfonso is going to answer the Ornn with Yorick, which is... These are just a bunch of interesting picks we don't normally see, honestly. This is a really interesting draft.
They're taking this exhibition match to also try out new strategies, it appears, as all of the top side of the map picks have been locked in, assuming the Corki stays in the mid lane, which should be happening as we get into our second phase of bans. Bot lane focus, I would assume, as Vayne gets locked out for Serenity Senate, and let's see what they respond with. How do you expect this bot lane to go, being how late it is in the draft?
It's really weird. You know, you never really see bot lanes. Bot lanes are usually one of the first things to go down in the draft. So to see the solo lane matchup already decided, it will be. It's hard to even say how it's going to go. So far, it's been mostly comfort bans, taking away LTY's Vayne. Maybe the Xerath ban going. Yep, Xerath ban going back across the other side. Ash gets taken away. Another very good marksman on the patch. And Draven ban for Serenity Senate. Must have done their research. Cold Blaster must be pretty proficient on it, because it's not exactly bad, but I haven't seen it very much.
Definitely so. Draven, more of a niche champion in all of the metas of organized play. We've seen it on FOF many times before. One of the most recent ones piloted by the beloved Jeff God Gamer. And it was a very incredible performance, played with Brian Sing's set support. They dominated that game from minute 1 to the end of the game. It was a bloodbath of constant fighting. I don't know if you guys remember that one. I know me and Therocles remember that one good and well, as Ezreal is picked up for the first bot lane pick of the game for Church of Alfonso.
Yeah, I actually really like what this does for their composition. Both Corki and Ezreal can kind of sit back and take pot shots at Serenity Senat's team. They've locked in their entire top side of the map, and they don't have amazing engage outside of Ornn's like full committal wombo combo. Serenity Senat's hovering Gnar, which would bump the Ornn to support, I would think.
Yes, it would, definitely.
And they're going to lock that one in, so it looks like Gnar's actually in the top lane, which does give Serenity Senate a little more direct engage to maybe deal with the poke coming in the side of Church of Alfonso. And also it's going to be much better than Ornn to match Yorick in the side lane. So even though it's weird to shuffle Ornn down to the support role, I actually really like the pick.
Definitely so. It also matches the narrative you were going for with how Ornn was synergizing with Anivia and Trundle's structures that they're able to put up themselves. Gnar can also get a few stuns by hitting them into those. So still some synergy coming across the board for the walls here on Serenity Senate as Nocturne gets locked in as their last pick. No traditional AD carry is going to be had. It appears as so we are getting, I want to assume, God forbid, we are getting an Anivia bot lane perhaps. That could happen.
Has to be an Anivia bot.
Maybe that can go any which way. Serenity Senate has the flex picks for this one. Not too sure what's happening here on the side of Serenity, as Alistair is going to be the final pick of the match for Church of Alfonso, picking up their comp very well rounded out. They scale really well into the late game with Corki Ezreal damage. You got some beef on that side with Alistair, Yorick, and Lee Sin themselves. Serenity Senate really throwing Church of Alfonso in for a loop with this one. We're not too sure where those picks are going to go ourselves. As we get into the game real soon, who do you think is going to take game 1 of the night, War Leader?
So I think Church of Alfonso's composition, they really just put Serenity Senate on a timer with their really, well-scaling champions. And Serenity Senate, they have some engage options, but they really looked more like a mid-game composition, and I think Church of Alfonso is going to thrive.
Definitely so. I would agree. As we head into game number 1 of the night, ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking it off right. And it is indeed Anivia Ornn in the bot lane. That is an Ornn support and Anivia on the AD carry. That's an interesting pick, ladies and gentlemen. Nocturne mid being brought out, Trundle in the jungle, Gnar in the top lane. Whereas on COF side, they're going for an invade real quick. Let's see what happens here. They do have the CC. Stun is going to be locked up. Hate Time is going to try to ward hop out of there. He started W, but he's not going to get out alive. The kill is going to go to Nocturne mid, and they're going to walk out with their rewards. Wow.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge for Serenity Senate. Having Lee Sin, actually Lee Sin normally starts W in the jungle, so that's not too weird, but it was a really clean invade that picks up the kill on Lee Sin, and obviously it caught him off guard because he went for the ward hop instead of flashing back over the wall, which could have saved him. So really well played by Serenity Senate with the early macro play. And they're going to need things like that and get the snowball rolling pretty early if they want to beat the timer on Church of Alfonso. But it looks like we've got some interesting Tribush play.
Cheeky Pingu going for the looking in the bush. He's not going to like what he sees as Beshiwap gets the Q onto Cheeky Pingu. Cheeky Pingu's going to start the lane on half. In the mid lane, we're getting a good push in from Nocturne, the Q auto, the wave. We have started quite a game, and continuing on from where I was, Wild West Wild in the top lane, piloting New York, Paytime on the Lee Sin, RHC kicking it off with the Corki mid, Cold Blaster on the Ezreal, and Beshi on the cow. He's ready for it. We've seen this pick before, and goodness me, we have a start to the game.
Yeah, Nocturne being the beneficiary of the early invade gets to walk to lane with boots and a control ward in his pocket, which is going to be really helpful because since the patch where they took away Nocturne's sustain off of minions, it hasn't been a very strong solo lane pick, and I think he's going to need that little extra mobility and dodging Corki's damage to survive laning phase. But bot lane getting exciting.
Definitely so. We're going to get an egg at 2 minutes in the game as they hit level 2 first. Alistar going to WQ combo the Anivia, and then she's going to flash out. It's not going to be enough. She loses the egg and a bunch of resistances so early in lane. With how behind she is already in terms of CS on the Ezreal, she's going to only get more behind as they're pushing in this bot lane. Oh, but Cheeky Pingu is not in for it as he wants blood. But Cold Blaster is going to Arcane Shift on out of there. There's not going to be happening too much in the bot lane anymore after that one.
Well, Trundle's actually moving in to try and make a numbers advantage.
Could he get the pillar on too? Yes, he does. But, goes for the E onto the pillar to knock him up. But he's going to get knocked away by Beshiwap. Beshiwap going for the hero play, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to get out. And he's going to go down as well, but it's a 1-for-1 as Lee Sin comes in. Paytime looking to pick up that paycheck as Cold Blaster is going to secure the kill on Nivea, and that's going to be an overall 2-for-1 on the side of COF.
Yeah, so at the beginning of that play, we see Alistar using his headbutt to stop Ornn's engage. Oh, scrapping in the jungle, though.
Oh, it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this before. Paytime getting a little greedy. He wants his rewards, but he's not going to get too much from it, ladies and gentlemen, as he's going to have to walk out with half HP and only 1 Krug in his pocket.
Yeah, so Beshiwap's initial heroics to stop Ornn's engage. Oh my
I
gosh.
don't think we're over, ladies and gentlemen. Halo's getting some damage onto RHC. There's a Beshiwap and a Paytime coming in high. Spell Shield the Q it in. He's going to have to flash out of the Alistar combo. Very well played for him to get out of there. But Filthy Casual is still looking for more as Beshiwap's going to take some autos from him, and they're just going to walk out and disengage after that one. This could be a setup for a Crab into a Dragon play here in a minute, but they're going to be back on the map before you know it.
Yeah, this has just been a really exciting game. We've seen a lot of interesting picks and a lot of interesting lanes, and now in top lane.
Now in top lane, there's going to be a nice little 1v1 going on between Wild West Wild and P Sweezy. There's not going to be too much happening as they both take their health bars in damage, but the stun onto York to end that trade, it's not over just yet. The E from York lands. He's forced to flash out of that one. P Sweezy is not liking the way that this lane is going as he's forced to blow both of his summoners in that trade.
Yeah, Wild West Wild played that 1v1 really well. York's Cage was able to stop Gnar from getting off a lot of his damage when he goes Mega, and as a result, the York was able to chip him down with all of his ghouls that he summons. And as a result, both summoners go down from P Sweezy, a big advantage over to COF in that 1v1.
Definitely so. Lee Sin on the top side, same with Trundle. They're looking to get some action up here in this top lane to help pressure P Sweezy into letting Wild West Wild get his recall off. Don't think he needs to blow his TP in order to get back to lane, which is very good for him as he picks up the Sheen. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Alistar looking for more in the mid lane. So he's walking up onto Halos. If we look at that mid lane, Nocturne forced to walk out of there. He has no flash anymore, but in the bot lane, as we see, Ezreal is going to get punished for having no cow in his lane. Starting to catch back up in CS. Anivia is not too far behind from how this game started. Alistar is headed back to the bot lane. Ezreal now has his friend, and we are back to a true neutral.
Yeah, it's really neutral in terms of gold. I think the pressure is still on Serenity Senate to make something happen in this mid game because the Corki and the Ezreal are going to scale very hard, and it's going to be very hard for Serenity Senate to do anything with all the poke on the side of COF. We're seeing that the Nocturne is going relatively even with the Corki in lane, which is really good. And the Anivia is still behind in bot lane, which should be expected from something so unorthodox. But the Anivia has been catching up, so it's not exactly a disaster. And if they like how it works with Auron and Gnar in the composition, it could definitely work come mid-game when these ultimates come through.
Definitely so. Halos definitely feeling the range difference here in the mid lane. Still keeping up in CS, but he's paying the price for it as he's down to half health without having anything happen in lane just yet. Not too much going on around the map. Dragon focus looking in the bot lane as we're taking up a crab for ourselves. Alistair's walking up. It seems like they're doing the Infernal Dragon very early in the game. They're looking to pick up an early soul this game as they're getting the Dragon pressured on. If we look at that minimap, Dragon's already at 1700. It's getting pretty low. Cold Blaster trying to get Filthy Casual from coming in. FFS4 going for the WQ, but it's not going to be enough to stop them as Cheeky Pingu and Frozen Incursion are going to get the damage in. Lee Sin gets the Dragon, but Trundle gets himself a paycheck. Pay Time is looking to re-engage this, and they're going to pick up a return kill on the Cheeky Pingu as they're chasing 4 out. And Pay Time walked into the wrong bush as Nocturne Ult comes through. Corki's taking the damage. He's going to have to flash, but he already did. He's not getting out of that one alive. Cold Blaster running with his tail between his legs as they do get the Dragon, but they give over 3 kills instead.
Yeah, that was a really interesting back and forth fight. Initially, we see Serenity Senate pick up an initial kill as Church of Alfonso has a bit of a split decision. Ezreal and Alistair turned for the fight while Lee Sin finished the Dragon. As a result, there was 1 death from the side of Church of Alfonso in the beginning, but Lee Sin secures the Dragon. Then the Corki arrives to the fight before Nocturne can, and does a lot, knocking down people, doing a lot of damage. But they didn't respect Nocturne's ability to get to the play with the Paranoia, and as a result, Nocturne flies in and completes the fight.
Definitely so. That was very well played for the side of Serenity as they are getting themselves into this mid game sooner than we think. Ultimates have come in. The comp will come together as soon as lane phase ends. It's looking pretty decent for them despite the off-meta picks. As Paytime and Beshiwap looking to take Halos out here, getting a stun and a kick onto Halos. He's going to be going down without a doubt. Corki picking up that kill for himself, scaling him up as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, this Corki is starting to get really strong. It's really fortunate that he gets the kill there because all the gold in Corki's pockets will allow him to reach his first item, which should be a Trinity Force, a little faster. And once that comes through, it's going to be nearly impossible for Nocturne to do anything in the 1v1 with Corki's huge range advantage and the amount of damage that Corki's going to be able to put out. It also means that Corki's just going to have a lot of ranged poke that Serenity Senate doesn't have amazing answers for other than get on top of, which Corki can just Valkyrie out and should be able to disengage that. So I predict that Corki's going to be a huge pain for Serenity Senate to try and deal with as this game goes on.
Could be. Looking at the Corki's build, there's a good chance that we're seeing Sunderer Corki if that turns into a Phage. But it very well could be Kindle Gem and the fake Phage that Trinity Force builds out of if once we see what he spends his gold on. Trundle in the mid lane, going to get Corki to see that back. And yes, it is going to be the Divine Sunderer Corki instead of Triforce this game, which is quite interesting. On this patch, Divine Sunderer did get nerfed a little bit. Not too heavy, just a 5 AD nerf. Shouldn't be too much of an impact as it is still a decent item for a pickup.
Yeah, and Serenity said its composition is so many beat all champions that Divine Sunderer gets a lot of benefit from. Trundle especially is going to have a ton of health after he uses his ultimate, stealing somebody's health. Gnar's going to have a lot of health when he goes Mega. Horn's going to have a lot of health and then engage in the mid lane.
Oh, we are going for round 2 here in the mid lane as 2 flashes get burnt. And that is going to be Paytime getting out alive this time around. He did have the kick to try to go for it. Went for the ward hop instead of the flash, correction. But Halos was able to flash over the wall on the other side, get out alive, and not take the L that time around. Wild Less Wild, however, he's caught out a little bit. The Gnar forward is going to send Wild Less Wild closer to his tower, but he's got a TP from RHC getting this going. Going to be slowed down from the Ornn It's not going to matter too much. Filthy Casual forced to flash over the wall. He's going to get out alive, though. Well, good TP from RHC to stop that gank from turning into anything worse than it could have been. Ezreal in the bot lane. Beshiwap getting a Q onto Frozen Incursion. That's going to be the egg going out as Beshi is going to go down to the tower. Can Ezreal pick this up? He's at half. He eased forward. Tower shot is not going to do him in as he picks up a kill 1-for-1 for himself. But here comes the Ornn. He's ready to pick up this kill for themselves, as Ezreal does have to flash out of that one. Still has the heal, should be alive out of this one. Meanwhile, Filthy Casual picking up a solo kill onto RHC, but there's 2 people in the area ready to defend his honor, and Paytime picks up that as Filthy Casual, 3-1 so far, really bringing down the hammer.
Yeah, we're just seeing fights all over the map. Both teams clearly want to go in hard and get their damage out. In the bot lane, there's a bit of a tower dive coming out from Beshiwap that's initially really well executed, but slightly mistimed, having the Alistar go down to the tower. And Cold Blaster does pick up the kill on Frozen Incursion, and Cheeky Pingu is not quite mobile enough to catch up to that Ezreal, even with the use of the Ignite. I believe Ezreal had to flash and heal to get away. So, Serenity Senate does go up in Summoner spells, but Church of Alfonso gets ahead and kills off of the plays across the map.
He also, I believe, got 1 plating from that push in total. Bot lane tower is at 4 platings now, whereas the reverse tower on the opposite side of the bot lane is still at 5. So slowly but surely, they're picking up leads here, as he's also 30 CS ahead of this Anivia. Dragon fight coming around. Lee Sin picking it up. That's 2 for 2 on the Dragon. Beshiwap is coming in hot on this one, starting up the engage. Ornn's going to go down here, and Frozen Incursion following right behind as COF are ready to fight on this one. Beshiwap's going to go down to the Nocturne. Is not going to matter too much as Corki's picking up, well, not 1, actually only 1, as Paytime picks up the other kill. But that is a 4-kill trade in the bot lane. But we got more here in this top lane as we take it back a little bit. Wildless Wild taking this fight, and P Sweezy is not really liking how it's going, so he's going to teach him a lesson. Wild West Wild picked the wrong fight, and P Sweezy taught him why.
Yeah, so down in the Dragon fight, we really saw how much damage this Corki can do, and there's a very limited ability for anyone on the side of Serenity Senate to actually get on top of the Corki and stop him from dealing massive damage. Lee Sin as a buddy to protect the Corki makes this a Serenity Senate really doesn't have any way to deal with him, and Corki just gets off so much damage in that team fight that Church of Alfonso actually wins that Dragon fight 3 versus 4 until the Ezreal got there at the very end. But for the most of the fight, it was 3 versus 4, and Beshiwap looks caught out of position here.
Uh-oh, Beshiwap going for more as Wild West Wild TP's in behind him. P Sweezy forced to flash out of the York wall. He's in Mininar now. He's going to get out alive. That's a TP and a flash from Alistar coming out to try to pick up P Sweezy and punish him for the tower plating that he has received. But it was all for naught as P Sweezy is able to flash out and keep his life. Very well played for him as Cheeky Pingu, he's looking for more up here with Nocturne on Paranoia off to the side, ready to see if we can dive a Yorick. See how this one goes, as they don't have too much of a wave to push in here just yet. Halos on the background. He's looking to push him further back. Ezreal all flying in, hitting a grand total of 0. But this looks like a top tower, if I do say so myself. Let's see when the engage starts. Beshiwap is back up in the top lane, but there is no contest. That is going to be first tower going up for Serenity Senate 14 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think that was a really good macro call by Serenity Senate to send everybody up there and finally knock down one of these objectives. It's answered by most of the health of the tower in the mid lane, and Wild West Wild with a very heads-up play, understanding where the enemies are on the map, backing off to make sure that Serenity Senate doesn't get more than a tower on that play. And we're seeing that Church of Alfonso is actually up about 2,000 gold at this point, which is a really good sign for them because they're the ones that should be favored in the late game, and Beshiwap is looking for a dive.
Here we go. Anivia Egg is up. She does have the ability to survive as long as she can. Beshiwap with the ultis tanking as much as he can. They're just going to pick up an egg and take that one where it lies. Frozen Incursion not taking the L this time around, but he does lose his egg in the process. See where that one goes in the next 4 minutes as RHC taking some poke from P Sweezy, but P Sweezy taking more than just that. as Lee Sin is in the mid lane ready to defend him as Filthy Casuals joining the fray. See if there's going to be a 2v2 skirmish in the mid lane as bot lane is back to where it was before. Looks as if Anivia walled off her own minions to keep the minion in front of tower. I'm assuming keeping her own minions from getting to lane as soon as possible and potentially starting up a freeze here in the bot lane. Very smart from the Anivia as the dive is coming out. Paytime is not taking no for an answer as he queues under the tower. He's going to pick up a kill for himself, but Filthy Casual's not having it. He's ready to return the kill right back to where they started, and that's going to be a 700 gold shutdown, given right back in a 1-for-1 trade, plus 400 total for Serenity Senate, as they're going to call that off where it is. Tower in the mid lane is pretty low as Corky's pushing that up, but with that fight, that is all Serenity Senate needs to sort of close this gold lead gap as we get closer to mid game.
Yeah, I think they might need a little more because the mid tower actually fell there, and that's going to give Church of Alfonso a bit of map control, so we'll have to see how that goes. We did see that Corky wasn't able to do enough damage to the Trundle, but Beshiwop's looking for a dive here topside.
Halos does have the spell shield, hopefully, for the combo. Is it going to be enough as he gets knocked up? And Wild West Wild's coming through with the damage. A paranoia is going on to Beshi, but he's not going to go down. He is left at half. P Sweezy is coming in for the pressure, forcing Flash out of Beshi Wop, but that's not going to be enough to stop the tower from going down. Wild West Wild's going to pick up that return kill on the tower, but Beshiwop sees an opportunity. He's going for it, but he gets thrown into the wall. Beshiwop taken very low. P Sweezy not greeting for the kill just yet as he does a jump forward Q on the Wild West Wild. That looks like it should be it. It shouldn't be a kill too much after that. P Sweezy looking for Beshiwop, but he's in another castle as he gets into Mininar, and he's going to be going home.
Both of these teams are playing so bloodthirsty as Cold Blaster picks up Frozen Incursion, making a bit of an overstep in the bot lane. The Anivia's been trying to operate solo in the side lane, but it hasn't been working out. Wildless Wild is engaging on P Sweezy.
P Sweezy staying a little too long for his welcome as Third Dragon has come up. RHC coming in with the package, but he's going to get knocked up from the Orn Horn. Orn Horn is not going to be enough to turn the fight in any way, shape, or form, as Trundle and Orn are going to be going down for this one. Red team picking up Dragon Soul Point as we're getting onto the fourth dragon of the game here in about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, in the top lane, P Sweezy and Wild West Wild duking it out for a 400th time this game. But P Sweezy's going to come out on top once again, and he's going to get a push onto this tower, or onto the second tier tower, as P Sweezy and Wild West Wild have been fighting for a long time up there. Very well played from P Sweezy to pick up that solo kill for himself.
Yeah, so the earlier pick that Cold Blaster got onto Frozen Incursions Anivia results in a very good dragon play for the side of Church of Alfonso. Serenity Senate really didn't want them to get the soul point and sent the Orn and the Trundle to try and stop the objective, but they're completely outnumbered. There just aren't the numbers to match. P Sweezy's too caught up in a fight to use the teleport in. Maybe they were counting on that. But as a result, they not only give over the dragon, which puts Church of Alfonso on soul point, but they also give over 2 kills, and the Trundle, who's actually doing well, gets put far behind.
Uh-oh, RHC already busting out the Valkyrie. He has flash if he needs to get out of this one, but he has pay time here to back him up. He doesn't need it as they pick up 2 kills so far. Nocturne going to go down next as Filthy Casual. He's running for his life. No flash, no nothing to get him out. Subjugate to give him some health. He's going to get a little bit 600 heal from that. That was nice to see, but it was not enough as Paytime, RHC, and Beshi picking up 3 kills in that 3v3 on the Baron side of the map. Baron coming up in about 1 second, but that was amazing. Frozen Incursion, he's got the ultimate on Cold Blaster. He's also got the egg as it does get busted out. Cold Blaster, Arcane shifting away from the Orn E. Orn Horn coming out. That's one more Q to take him out. Cheeky Pingu's going to go out, and this is a Baron play for COF as they're taking it down mighty fast, even without the Ezreal. Corky's got the DPS, and that's all they need to secure themselves a 7-8K now gold lead on Serenity Senate.
Yeah, up in the topside river, we watched Serenity Senate spend so many cooldowns, so much effort to try and shut down this Corky and get a gold influx for themselves. But all of what they have is not enough to get on top of a very slippery Corki with a lot of big meatballs in front of him to keep him safe. And meanwhile, on the bot side, Cold Blaster with a really good outplay onto the bot pairing from Serenity Senate puts this Ezreal even farther ahead at 4-0 and 6. Beshi going in here.
Hex Flash coming over the wall. Paytime going for the ward. It's not going to be enough for him to get out as, P Sweezy is going to be taking the out for this one. Good flash kick from Lee Sin to bring him back. P Sweezy trying to flash out of that one, but Paytime responding it with the Q, lands perfectly, gets the kick flash, is able to pick up the kill for his team. Very well played from Paytime himself. And I would just like to mention here is Halos is coming up into this bot lane. Don't think he can do too much. Cold Blaster has not left the bot lane at all this game. He's been putting the pressure down here and only down here. And the rest of his team has not really felt it at all. As with Corki being a good DPSer for them as a replacement for the AD carry, they have been controlling the map towards the top side with only 4 at minimum or at most. And Ezreal ult coming out from the bot lane. Not too much participation aside from that. Ezreal has been doing a really good job at keeping Anivia in check, making sure that she's not able to roam without any form of punishment, which is sort of obscure coming out from the Ezreal who would like to group and fight, but he's getting fed off of it. He's up 50 CS. We're seeing some good action from him despite not grouping. He's been given a lot of 2v1s. As Paytime, he's on Frozen Incursion. He has the kick. Frozen Incursion, no egg just yet. Kick into the wall. He's going to go down to Paytime and Ezreal almost instantly. As Filthy Casual is looking to even up the score. He's flashing out of that one, but Cold Blaster is going to get the Arcane Shift in, and that's going to be enough damage to take him out. As Beshiwap in the mid lane, he's going to be busting the ultimate on P Sweezy and Cheeky Pingu, but there's not going to be too much happening there. Goodness me, COF are displaying a great performance here.
Yeah, the jungle matchup this game has been super interesting. Filthy Casual has been a very bright spot for a Serenity Senate that really can't seem to handle the pressure Church of Alfonso is putting out. And Paytime is clearly a great pilot of Lee Sin. We've seen multiple very complex plays coming out from the Lee Sin, resulting in some quick and decisive kills onto key members of Serenity Senate, really keeping them in the game and being at the right place at the right time at all times. The Lee Sin is an absolute menace, 10, 3, and 9. How can you expect to get onto these marksmen dishing out massive damage when Lee Sin's in the front stopping it? And for free, Church of Alfonso's going to pick up of Cloud Soul, no contest, and they're going to look to end the game pretty soon.
Definitely so, as they're pushing up a team fight here in this red side jungle. And Lee Sin does indeed get engaged on a Cheeky Pingu, blows out the kick, but Unstoppable Ornn is not going to move from that one. Beshi taken very low, but Frozen Incursion is going to be taken to 0 as Cheeky Pingu is going to be taken out shortly after. The Paranoia onto Beshi to secure that kill for Serenity, but it is going to trade Halos' life, as that is a 3-for-1 trade here in the mid lane. Baron has worn off for all the members, so that doesn't matter too much, but a Cloud Soul for free and a 3-for-1 team fight here for COF is going to establish even more of a gold lead than we've seen already. They're at 11k. That was a 3k gold Baron power play here by COF, and they are securing as much as they can as they are looking to end this game. Baron up in 1 minute and 50 seconds. That's the next objective they're going to be looking at, as they're going to be getting some 2 turrets, 2 inner towers, as Cold Blaster is going to take out the second one, and that's 600 gold in his pocket. I say it every time. Those tier 2 side lane towers are insane when it comes to gold, especially if given solo. 6, 0, and 8, 50 CS up on the Anivia, and an extra 600 gold from the tower. I mean, this Ezreal could not be more fed.
No, and it's really hard to imagine what Serenity Senate can even do as Filthy Casual is being chunked out.
He's going to be getting in the wall. He's jailed, and he's not going to pass go. He's not going to collect 200. He's going to go down for free. It's Frozen Incursion. He has the egg. He has the wall. Wild West Wild flashing over. Lee Sin queuing. That's going to be the egg going down, and that's going to be Anivia falling right behind it. Flash kick coming out from Halos, or onto Halos. He's not going to get out alive there, as his flash was not for anything, and Cheeky Pingu is going to fall straight behind him. We got one left on the map. P Sweezy looking to save the game. Beshiwap getting some BM. He's going to give over a free kill. That's disrespect if I've ever seen it. Beshiwap is proud of this win. as COF are looking to get 2 inhibs off of this one. They got a wave in the mid lane. Let's see if they can pick up a second one. 10 seconds on each of the members of Serenity Senate. There could be another fight before we see this inhib fall, or they could choose to disengage on this one. 25 seconds on the Baron. Let's see what COF does, as they're going to look to back off of this tower. Filthy Casual back on the map. He's not going to let it happen.
Yeah, we're seeing absolute dominance by Church of Alfonso, and what ultimately still is a loss.
God,
But
Filthy Casual taking really low. Frozen Incursion just spawned, and he's already got to take the train home as Cold Blaster's sitting alone in this mid lane, and no one can do anything about it. Nobody can engage on this Ezreal without taking some form of punishment from it, which is insane with how disrespectful COF are playing this late game. They are an inhib and a half as the inhib turret in the mid lane has been taken out. Baron is started up. Lee Sin starting it. He's taking some damage. Not going to matter too much here as Frozen Incursion's trying to spot out some people in the bot lane, get some vision down there for himself. But Baron, second Baron of the game, going to go down for COF. Looks to be uncontested as it does appear. So Beshi hopping in the jungle, finding himself a Halos. RHC going godlike. They're going to take it to the top lane. They got a wave coming up here pretty soon. They could choose to get 2 inhibs here. They could potentially end the game off this Baron push.
yeah, I think they might with the pick on the Halos. Halos is just in the wrong spot, trying to figure out some sort of miracle play, but it's not going to happen. Cold Blaster going forward.
E-Flash from the Ezreal, gonna pick up the bird. They taking some dinner home as Cheeky Pingu is going off onto Paytime. Paytime getting the kick on Filthy Casual. Filthy Casual forced a flash out of that one. Very good from Paytime getting these kicks. Really prominent in this game. Cheeky Pingu taking very low to find Sunder or Ezreal. Really teaching him a lesson as Paytime secures that kill. P-Sweezy forced a head under tower, and they're going to look to end this game as Halos, P-Sweezy, and Filthy Casual don't have a say in it. The engage on Beshi, it's not going to matter too much as he gets knocked back into the team. Filthy Casual, he's slowing up Yorick, and Yorick's going to go down there, but that's not going to matter. That's going to be game number 1 of the night, going to COF. Very well played from them as this exhibition match comes to a close. And COF's new players looking really good so far as their demonstration here. And first game on FOF as substitutes for COF went beautifully for them. And Ezreal and Corki leading the damage charts by a huge margin.
Yeah, I just think the composition from Serenity Senate was really strange. They drafted a lot of synergy, but just synergy alone does not a composition make, and as a result, we saw Church of Alfonso absolutely dominating. Serenity Senate are very happy that this was already a win for them.
So despite what has happened in this game with Church of Alfonso taking the win in this exhibition match, unfortunately we could not get them in time for their full roster, so they had to forfeit this match. As unfortunate as this is, they would have taken the win as it looks in this exhibition match. It is all for naught as Serenity takes the W anyway. Still a very good game from both teams. Their new players that they decided to try out, all of them have performed very well, and I hope these teams are able to take this match and learn a lot from it as we get into the coming weeks of this match. Game number 1 of the night going down, COF taking the exhibition match, but Serenity taking the win altogether. That is a very good start to the night, as we're going to head out for a interview with our winners here in just a few. Stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. We'll see y'all very soon.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here for... No. Not... The graphic's wrong. Folks, it says winners interview at the top. Obviously, these folks are from the Church of Alfonso. They are not the winners of this game. We got the losers interview here with the best team we've never seen before at 2-2. It's the Church of Alfonso's Paytime coming up big from the jungle. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I mean, I think we played the best of our ability, but this is definitely a loss we're gonna have to look at in the VOD review for sure. Team's a little bit down, but I think there's a lot we can improve on going into next week.
Yeah, a couple of those ward hops into flash kicks. You should probably just play them like really slow and just make your whole team sit there and watch them a little bit. Just see what you can learn, what you can peel away from this loss. You want to grow from those. So, and especially let's talk about this draft. What was this draft? I mean, everything on both sides was something. This is legally what we would call a game of League of Legends. So, talk to me about these drafts.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so last week we played sort of an exhibition match off air, and the team us and the other team agreed on having even though it wasn't official and we took the loss, we kind of wanted to treat it like a scrim, or treat it with some type of competitive capacity. So we took that draft serious last week, and this week we thought we would be getting to the same thing, especially since they knew that it was going to be broadcasted. I'm not gonna lie, for the first half of the draft, I was working. I was looking at all the other options, all the different option trees, figuring out where we could look at. The Indivior first was definitely it surprised me personally. I didn't know what they were gonna look for, but I didn't think it was Indivior, so that was kind of a twist that we weren't prepared for. But then we felt really good after the first three. I know the Yorick was definitely something that you're not used to seeing in general, but our sub felt super confident piloting it. And then when we got into the later stages of the draft, they picked Gnar Nocturne, and I'm not gonna lie, I almost FF'd right there. It was a loss anyway, but now we kind of just picked standard. We wanted to just see how we would execute, make sure that we're communicating well, because obviously we haven't played any official matches yet. I really liked how we communicated last week for that one game that we played, and today. So looking forward to actually playing in an official capacity and showing what we can really do.
Yeah, this is one of those comps I feel like that you're up against where you see it in solo queue and you're like, not only can this not work, but I cannot allow this to win, otherwise I actually have to uninstall the game legally. I'm forced
100%.
to. Yeah. Well, you folks were able to stave off the curse. You didn't get trapped in Elo hell, losing to this comp. So well done. We are excited to actually see some games from the Church of Alfonso. So it was really fun to have you folks in for this game. And before we step away, Paytime, any final thoughts that you'd like to leave with us, since you had this opportunity as you guys step into the league, into the spotlight finally?
Just want to say that definitely we were trying to push for official 4v5. We were pretty confident coming into it, and I think the results of the game showed that we might have been competitive in that realm, but unfortunately it was just an exhibition. I think we did a good amount to show what we could do for our first official game that's broadcasted. And I mean, in general, at the end of the day, everyone just is trying to sandbag to avoid Yubi, so that's kind of our game plan. We hope to see them in the finals. Hope to have some more competitive games in the future.
Awesome.
Shout out to the team. Also, I guess they did all right, but we lost, so I don't know. We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to come in and just really lay down the law, because I didn't see anything really that excited me in that game too much. It was a little shabby, but like I said, you folks, you're just getting together. You're still rabble. You can organize. You just gotta take this one on the chin. Don't take this loss too personally. I think you showed some gumption. There's stuff to learn from this.
I think so.
All right, man. Thanks so much. Thanks, Paytime, for this interview. Folks, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with our second game of the night, so don't go anywhere.
this isn't just a fight between the two of us. The principles and styles of our two schools are also at stake here today. They must leave this place and allow the other to continue teaching in peace.
I don't know, I was so scared.
直伝ストーン湖岸流大魔法術許しを得たのがこの翌日